I tried doing this once, and if I recall, it did not go all that well. I kind of lost the thread halfway through, and so I ended up not completing it. I think I got distracted by Hyrule Warriors at that point, and I did not go through the conclusion of the storytelling for Majora's Mask. So I'm here now, ready to do it. I feel really confident after going through Link's Awakening, which is now fully up on YouTube. And I'm ready to give this another try. So let's get started as we begin our analysis and our story expansion on The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Since I am coming into this one with the intention of doing it, you'll recall when I started Link's Awakening, I did not have the intention of doing this, so I'm doing it now since I do intend to it. Because we are starting with this and intending to expand on the story, I want to start by looking at our main character. Link is an active participant in this story and not just the player avatar, and so we need to make sure that Link has a personality that fits with what is going on around him. Number one thing, this is the hero of time. This is experienced adventurer hero Link. Even if he is a child, he has all of the memories of everything that had happened before. So he should be competent. He, at the very beginning, might be a little arrogant, at the very least, during our introductory cutscene, which we will get to, of course, because we haven't even started the game yet. But when things really start going, this is Adventurer Link. He understands what's going on. He knows dungeon diving. He knows how to use all of his weapons and things. He knows how this works. Instead, where Link is going to be challenged is the interpersonal workings of everybody around him, as well as his own internal struggles. And I feel like the internal struggle needs to be the through line as we try and go through this adventure. Because the reason that he left and went on this journey was to find Navi. He missed her. He wanted her back. He wanted to know why she really left. Almost like a separation anxiety, if you think about it. And so, while I do not subscribe to the theory that Link is dead, I think that one's been more or less debunked at this point, I am treating the adventure as real, as opposed to Link's Awakening, which was not so real. It was real in our hearts. That's what matters. Anyhow. The concept of loss, I think, should be a prominent through line here. The challenge will be, how can we maintain that through line so that as we reach the end, there is a resolution for Link, as well as for the land of Termina as a whole and all of our individual people as individuals. Because we want everything to be nice and happy at the end. And that actually is the second big challenge with this game, because the game is almost entirely side quests. Being able to link all of the side quests together, Link, is a massive effort here. Because there isn't a good way, thanks to the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey nature of this adventure to create necessarily a super smooth passageway through everything that is happening in this game. There is a part of me that says Majora's Mask probably runs better more as a kind of like a television series where there are vignettes happening through to illustrate that these are kind of like side quest things that are going on. But just like, hello Daisy, just like a Monster of the Week type of anime show. I'm watching a lot of Magical Girl Precure, so this is in the back of my mind. Every single episode, even as a self-contained story, does have a resolution and maybe some things learned along the way type of deal. I'm not certain how effectively we can pull that off, especially with just the multitude of side quests that are involved. So we're going to do our best. I don't know how effective we're going to be, but we were able to pull Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening pretty solidly. So let's see how it goes. The introduction here, I think, is pretty solid. There isn't too much that I think really needs any kind of extrapolation or alterations in order to make it narratively effective. It's a super strong start and a super strong ending, if I'm being honest. I don't think there's going to be... Well, I probably shouldn't assume too much about the ending because who knows where we're going to end up in our journey to the ending. But for now, the beginning is good. I am all on board with the beginning. If anything, all we would want to do is emphasize that Link is looking for Navi. Flashbacks, talking to Epona, that kind of deal. Aside from that, everything else here is pretty good. I wonder how long he's been traveling. Because he's traveling through woods, which makes you think he went through the woods to leave Hyrule. Or at the very least, this is where his search would start. Ow. I had a lot of fun messing with audio editing when I first recorded this on my YouTube channel. See, I don't like how he addresses them as fairies here because they are technically his friends at this point. So it'd be more, well, you two guys, you fairies. Maybe just you did great. Good job. That's all. Huh, this guy. Oh, that should be a problem. The idea of a Skull Kid pulling this kind of thing, I feel like wouldn't be all that surprising. Link would know about Skull Kids growing up in the Kokiri Forest. Oh, what a pretty ocarina! Hey, Skull Kid, let me touch it. I want to see. You can't, Tail. What would we do if you dropped it and broke it? No way, you can't touch it. Oh, but sis, why can't I try it out too? This is so good. Just the look on Link's face is so good. I would totally want a fairy trying to get a hold of the Skull Kid's attention kind of situation before it, like, slowly turns around and there's Link. Same thing across, just expanding the humor because I like that trope. He's right behind me, isn't he? In this moment, I wonder if Link is more concerned about Epona or the ocarina. It's an interesting question, and the obvious answer would be Epona, but it's the Ocarina of Time, specifically the ocarina given to him by Zelda, which by itself is pretty darn significant, especially after everything he and Zelda went through, even if this Zelda doesn't necessarily remember all of it. This is the part that makes people wonder, is this like a different reality? Is this Link dying? I don't think we would necessarily need to have that, because I want to emphasize that this place actually exists. What's with that stupid horse of yours? It doesn't listen to a word that's said to it. There's no point in riding a thing like that, so I did you a favor and got rid of it. That's definitely not how that line would go, but got rid of it. You definitely want the implication that he just often killed Epona. At this point, we have Link standing there in shock. I think Link would be a little bit more enraged. So we would have this scene set up a little bit differently. Just in terms of the environment that allows Link to try and chase after the Skull Kid a little bit more. But Majora's Mask, all that stuff, he's like teleporting, disembodied voice type of stuff as he's saying this kind of thing. Of course, no one has any idea what's going on. That's why I reject that reality and substitute my own. I can just, oh man, I can see it. I can totally see it. Just Link running around. He's trying to chase the Skull Kid down. How dare you take my horse? Give me back the ocarina. It's important to me, yada, yada, yada. I just have a little fun with you. Come on. Do you really think you can beat me as you are now, as I am now? And it's having all of that happening until suddenly it's like he's everywhere. The mask is everywhere. The Skull Kid is everywhere. And then everything goes black and turns into this. Basically, I think you could make this look a whole lot creepier and a whole lot darker. Maybe not darker, but definitely creepier. Let's expand the existential crisis here, the out-of-body crisis. Because body horror is a thing that we get to explore in this game. Like, the fact that that scream is there is so appropriate. Now we can have the part where he's just floating there. He's laughing. But this is Link. Link is, yeah, he's panicking, but he's not going to just stand there. Which is what leads to this. Sis! Now, we have a door here. I feel like maybe just straight teleportation would make more sense for mystical mask of evil type of deal. The same thing happens, obviously. Tail and Tattle get separated. You! If I wasn't dealing with you, I wouldn't have gotten separated from my brother! Well, don't just stand there, Deku boy. Do something! Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something stuck on my face? The tsundere attitude of Tattle is beautiful. I love it. Perfect. No notes. Link's reaction to Tattle. The glow is different, but there is a part of me that still wants Link to see a little bit of Navi in her. That being said, I don't know how effectively you could pull that off, considering that he's already kind of had to deal with the fairies. No. The only way you could do that is if the fairies startled Epona without Link noticing, which happens, but then Link doesn't see the fairies at all as he's getting up, which probably not necessarily going to happen. So we can probably leave it as is. Instead of Link staring at Tattle, though, there would probably be kind of an immediate argument. Because this is confident Link now. This is competent Link now. What are you talking about? This is immediate argument. I want these two arguing from the get-go. I think that would be great. And so, the argument about who's at fault, who is that Skull Kid, why did you let him do this to me? Tattle's just worried about Tail about this whole thing, is frustrated at Link. And Tattle is like, fine, stay here and rot. I'm gonna go find my brother. She runs off, and Link follows Tattle. And so, instead of this part, where Tattle is, wait for me, don't leave me behind, it's more of a, would you leave me alone? And so, there's still more conflict because Link knows that this fairy is his ticket out of here and tracking down the Skull Kid. So he's chasing after her. She's upset. There would need to be some kind of conflict that happens here, somewhere in this area, that Link, even as a Deku, is able to save Tattle from. Maybe some kind of trap, like maybe got stuck in brambles or something. Maybe an actual monster that, despite being a little Deku boy, Link is able to defeat. And then there is a moment of, well, another tsundere moment where Tattle is still refusing to do anything, and Link's like, fine, be that way, I'll go figure it out myself. And then Tattle realizes, oh, without this kid, or at least somebody to help me, I'm screwed. So then she rushes forward. Okay, all right, fine. Look, you want to know where the Skull Kid is, right? All right, please, all of this stuff then happens there. And obviously, good, so then it's settled before Link is like, wait, what? So, it's nice to meet you, or whatever. So, now that we got all that straightened out, we can stop messing around and get moving, right? Come on, let's go. And once again, Link is just... What is even going on? Can this? Hang on. Oh, it does. Nice. Because money. Why not? Skull Kid obviously took all my money, so I need more money. Link is needing to figure out how this body works. Because body horror. And up to this point, what he has been doing on pure instinct. But now that things have cooled down a little bit, he needs to understand what in the world is going on. And so he needs to spend time trying to figure out, how does this stuff work? What's this thing? What's the whole flower deal? Even if Tattle is most likely being overly impatient, what's taking you so long? Link would have to be, well, hold on. I don't understand how this body works, thank you. I only got it 5 minutes ago. Tattle would probably start something along the lines of, what Deku Scrubs are. And Link's like, I know what Deku Scrubs are. I've seen plenty of Deku Scrubs. I've never been a Deku Scrub. And so then he starts figuring out how Deku Scrubs move, act, yada, yada, yada. And that's what they're doing as they are making their way through this area. This place has a whole bunch of empty gaps because we need to learn how the flowers work, but in our case, this would be more of a more forested area. We're still kind of wandering through foresty type stuff, if darker forest than what we are used to. And it's wandering around through there, probably near a stream. And that's where they stumble across this twisted stump. And Link looks at it and says, this looks familiar. And Tattle would be like, well, yeah, it kind of looks like you do right now. And Link would be saying, no, it reminds me of something else. And flashback to the Deku Tree sprout. Baby Deku Tree. It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? And that's what has Link kind of reminiscing about before, and what he gave up by allowing Zelda to whisk him home. And so the questions then begin, why is this like this? The way I'm supposed to be, that's what Zelda said when she sent him back, but what have I actually gotten out of this? And so all of these questions, regrets about this life that he had, the things that he's experienced, and everything that has befallen him now are wandering through his head as he continues forward. Not really having a real direction to go at this point. He's just following the stream. The stream which leads him to just the sounds of water, and the sounds of the water wheel. And Link is confused. He's looking around because he wasn't really paying attention. Emissary, hello. I hope you are recovering from your stress-filled weekend. Very tiring week. So he doesn't realize that at some point, as he's wandering up the river, he ended up going underground. And he's just been going. Tattle really doesn't care about him, so they're both content, as it were, to remain in an awkward silence. Until finally, Link comes to the water wheel. It's like, oh, what is this? He sees the water wheel, and the conversation between Link and Tattle would finally begin to unfold in regards to their position and Link's condition, about where the skull might be. And Link is still frustrated because he's thinking about all the stuff that has been going on, wishes that he was himself. Nothing about this makes sense. Why am I here? Why has everything been like this? And as that is going, a voice from behind. Yes, you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Link would first be like, yes, that is exactly what? And then turn around and see the masked salesman. Link would recognize him because spent that time with him during Ocarina of Time. But obviously, because Link is a Deku, at the very least, it doesn't seem like the masked salesman recognizes him. Pardon for the interruption, but I could not help overhearing you. Yes, that is quite a terrible fate that has befallen you. That obviously happens. Because Tattle knows. Please allow me to introduce myself. I own the Happy Mask Shop. I travel far and wide in search of masks. Masks of all kinds, as you can see. Common masks, playful masks, even masks of particular import. Unfortunately, during my travels, a very important mask was stolen from me by a mischievous imp in these woods, in the nearby woods. So, here I am, at a loss. But perhaps I have reached a stroke of fortune, or I have run into you. What does me being here have to do with your problem, sir? I'm not entirely certain how to address him. He was never really comfortable around the Happy Mask salesman for obvious reasons. Oh, no, don't think me too rude, but I did overhear you. Let's see, that line comes earlier because I overheard you, I've been following you, because I believe I can help you. For you see, I know of a way to return you to your former self. Wait, you do? How do you know that? One learns a great many things in one's travels, particularly when it comes to the kind of predicament that you have found yourself in and its mischievous origins. If you can get back the precious item that was stolen from you, I will return to normal. That is one of the things that Link would need to have been talking about as he is thinking to himself going down the line. How did I lose the ocarina? Princess Zelda gave me that. There is only one precious ocarina that Princess Zelda would have. And so, Ocarina of Time, there it is. The legends and surrounding these royal relics maybe are not widely known, but they're not completely unknown. So knowing that it is a mystical musical relic makes sense that the masked salesman will know at least a little bit about it, especially if he already knows about at least one magical song. I will help you if you can get it back. In exchange, all I ask is that you also get back the mask. My precious mask the imp is stolen from me. You mean that thing that he was wearing with the heart and the spikes, that was yours? Yes. Yes, it is most important that I get it back. Please. I mean, it helps both of us. And they are both in the same place. Is it not a simple task? In fact, from what I heard from you, you seem to be very well traveled yourself, despite your current appearance. So, with someone of your experience, I am sure it should by no means be a difficult task to you. Link is thinking about this, and, well, I'm doing this anyway. Seems like a really convenient thing, but this is competent, experienced Link, and so he's thinking and says out loud, what's the catch? This is too easy and too convenient. Well, since you asked, I do have one stipulation. You see, I am a very busy fellow, and I must leave this place in 3 days. 3 days? That's no time at all. That's actually Tattle who says that. That's no time at all. And there's a little glance behind Link, and Tattle immediately just cowers back behind. So, oh yeah, I'm trying to not draw attention to myself because she knows what part she played in this whole thing. But yes, think nothing of it. Simply an incentive to make sure you return to yourself as soon as possible. You'll be fine. I see you are young, have tremendous courage. I'm sure you'll find it right away. Perhaps even right outside that door. Link looks. Do take care. And remember, 3 days, I'm counting on you. And Link is very awkwardly just kind of backing away from him as he slowly opens the door and heads out. Where he is greeted, of course, by the sound of a cuckoo and the sounds of construction across Clocktown. He gives me the creeps. Man, he's even worse than the last time. The last time? Oh, nothing. Just thinking out loud. Seriously, 3 days though. 3 days? Again, Tattle does not want to admit her role in this, which she will not do probably until we get to the cutscene, where we see the Skull Kid getting Majora's Mask. So, at first, Link is like, yeah, in a place that I have no idea where anything is. I'm gonna have to explore this place before I even get an idea of where the Skull Kid is. Oh, don't worry about that. I know where we are. You do? Yeah, this is Clocktown, the central hub of Termina. Termina? Uh-huh. That's where we are. Now, come on. We're gonna go see the Great Fairy. There's a Great Fairy here? Look, you want to find the Skull Kid, don't you? And so, this journey begins. And Link, during this time, obviously I'm going to have to pause a lot because we don't want the clock running anytime that we're having this kind of conversation going. This is the opportunity, these first 3 days, to encounter as many people that are connected to Link's story as possible. So all of our side quests, all of the people in the Bomber's Notebook should be run into as much as possible within our first 3-day period. I think the only real exceptions to that are people who live outside of Clocktown. So obviously the people in the 4 cardinal directions, as well as Cremia, Romani, and probably the Gorman brothers. Aside from that, we should get the opportunity to run into every single character. The challenge with that, as we're doing this right now, is where is everybody? And what is the most effective way to run into all of them? At this point, we don't necessarily need to have Link interacting with them, but we do at least need to see them as part of everything that is going on. I wish, for example, that we could see Cafe running away from the Great Fairy's Shrine as we are approaching the Great Fairy's Shrine. Unfortunately, I don't think that is something we're going to be able to do because Cafe has been missing for a significant amount of time already. I'm going to say at least a month. Two weeks to a month, I think, is probably an appropriate amount of time for Cafe to be gone, as he has been looking for his wedding mask. It's frustrating that Cafe would have gone to the Great Fair. Well, that's a whole different discussion. I don't need to dive into the logistics of Cafe's situation, but that is something of import. And so, yes, I understand, puppy. I understand. Now is not the time. Probably the lesser... The less significant characters, let's put it that way. The less significant characters, such as... Well, no, I was about to say the Bomb Lady, but I really would love to have the Bomb Lady getting her bomb stolen scene be part of our initial 3 days. I was about to say, I was trying to think of what characters you could have in the... We would have to see, because I think there are opportunities. So we're going to do this first, and while I play this, I will try and kind of puzzle this out. Because just like I ended up doing with Ocarina of Time, I am probably going to be gunning for 100% here. At the very least, as far as heart pieces go, and, of course, all of the items. So that, of course, means I have to do all of the quests. Because this is the life that I live. Unfortunately, there is enough focus required for this minigame that makes it really hard for me to think about plot things while doing the minigame. Also, I'm on a timer. There we go. A new record! Thank you. Because not every minigame is going to require Link's active presence in the story. And, again, one of the big challenges is going to be what is necessary and what is not necessary. And so... Gosh, you would need a full-on list of, like, okay, here are all these things. You got to plan out all of these characters. Gosh. I'm starting to appreciate the challenge that the developers had in coming up with all of this stuff in a year! And that's not even including all the programming and bug testing and all of that stuff. Ugh. Regardless, I don't think Link would necessarily be running into anybody unless it's a run in the street kind of deal. Regardless, we eventually get to this point where we reach it. Link thinks, this looks a little smaller than the Great Fairy Shrines I'm used to. In fact, there's a whole bunch of odd-looking fairies here. I don't like how these fairies look, but that design stuff notwithstanding, it's a whole different discussion. This is the... What the heck? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by baseball. This is the state that we find him in, and... There's a little bit more than just, oh, I've been shattered, please find the thing. The conversation is a little bit longer because Tattle is shocked. Link is kind of more in an analytical, curious state in, this is odd. What is this like? And so a lot of the information is being given and Link is registering it, but Tattle is the one who is much more emotionally invested because she is shocked that somehow the Skull Kid got the jump on the Great Fairy, which makes all kinds of confusion. As they leave, Tattle is talking about the situation. Where can we find a piece of the Great Fairy? And that is when a certain middle-aged, 35-year-old, 35 is middle-aged, apparently. This is how old I am. I'm older than Tingle. Anywho, that's when he calls out, a fairy? A fairy? What? It just comes bounding up to him. What's this? What's this? Green clothes? And a fairy? Sir, could you by chance be a forest fairy? Well, I'm from the forest. A forest? Oh my! Oh, my name is Tingle. I think I'm the same as you, sir. A forest fairy. Are you sure? Ah, alas. Though I am already age 35, no fairy has come to me yet. There's just a whole bunch of miscommunication happening at this case, because obviously Tingle is very obsessed, and Link doesn't understand what the heck is going on. But because Tingle supposedly knows all about fairies, buy both of these because I can. Tingle would give them a very confident direction as to where he should go to find the fairies. Because obviously, Tingle is an expert at fairy tracking. And he would obviously send us off with a Kulu Limpa, because that is what the Tingle do. And so, he sends them off on a direction through town, and Clocktown is bigger than our map, because it's the only city, really, in the whole of Termina. But gameplay mechanics, that's how it goes. Oh, I missed Gorman. That's okay. That is okay, because what I think what would happen then, if that is the case, is that Link would accidentally run into Gorman as they're running through, trying to figure out what directions Tingle gave them. They're getting lost, is basically what's going on. And it's, don't speak to me, or, you know, because he's grumbling. Probably the way that the scene would go, the scene would cut to Gorman just being frustrated about everything being canceled and what he's supposed to do. Grumble, grumble. Link and Tattle are running, and then they bump into each other like that. So obviously this is going on, and then there is... Sorry, I'm trying to find... You know, not really listen to a thing. Basically, through the midst of the arguments, Gorman brings up the mayor and his wife and all the stuff. He doesn't explain anything to Link. He's just venting and raging about everything that is going on. And so that kind of sends Link into this direction to try and maybe get some help. Maybe at least some directions as to, you know, because missing persons. He understands figures of authority and what they can do to help that kind of stuff. I mean, we're basically at a loss since Tingle's explanations led us nowhere. Let's try someone who actually supposedly knows the city. And so, because he's a Deku scrub, he probably doesn't... He probably doesn't run in. Maybe instead of walking into the office, instead, Link and Tattle are hearing this argument outside the window. The window is open, and this argument is going on. I am perfectly fine with this argument as constituted. Because I think it talks about everything perfectly well. I would wait for this line until the very end. Once we get through the argument, the confused townfolk caused a panic by believing this ridiculous, groundless theory. The soldiers couldn't prevent the panic. The outward side of the town walls is where the danger is. You want answers? The answer is that the carnival should not be cancelled. Isn't that right, Mr. Mayor? I like his hair. Are you serious, Muto? It seems that... Again, I want the conversation... I want the moon to not be a thing. So we leave that line alone and then just go straight to... We're overrun by tourists, so why is the town practically empty? Clearly it's your job to ensure the carnival's operation, but that's if people are here for it. Don't drag the merchants and soldiers into this! If the soldiers wish to run, then run, Vicen! We councilmen will stick to tradition! This carnival will be a success. I've never heard of a defense unit abandoning its town! Madame Aroma would surely say the same thing, wouldn't she, Mayor Dator? Let's not bring my wife into this. So that argument is going on, and Tattle and Link are kind of outside the window trying to mull over what the freaking heck are they on about. Madame Dator and, oh gosh, I forget his name. He's not telling us. Nope. He's definitely not. None of them are. So both of us just, oh, are you a student? Where's your mom? Where's your teacher? Which is fine. So instead of having them here, instead of, let's not bring my wife into this, instead we would have the two of them walking around outside. And so walking around outside, again, conversation of, oh, this thing has gone just horribly wrong. We at the Jaundice Society do not like this small child. Thanks, Vic. Great to see you again, Max. Eleanor, welcome. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. So, if they are just outside and talking, they're not talking specifically to Link and Tattle. Again, it's the third person... or the third group of people, I guess we should talk, because we had Gorman, we had the mayor, the Vicen, and Muto, and now we have the madam and the owner of the Indogogos, being like, oh, this thing is so horrible, everything is falling apart, no one is able to help or anything like that, and finally, as Link and Tattle are utterly confused as to why in the world everyone is like this, the phrase then comes from inside, perhaps that huge chunk of rock in the sky hasn't caught your eye. Do you really believe the moon will fall? And that's when both of them look up and they see it. And suddenly everything changes. What in the world is that? How... Is that the moon? Is that... Now, since we want Termina to be an actual place and not be misconstrued as the afterlife or the Skull Kid's twisted mind on things, instead of having it be the actual moon, I would probably have it be more like an asteroid or something to that effect. Either way, they're calling it a moon, even if there's like already another moon in the sky, or maybe they just don't see the moon and assume it is the moon. The shadow magic of Majora's Mask is hiding the moon and instead bringing this rock down from space. Just because the idea of the moon just suddenly having a face on it is absolutely ridiculous. Someone said Optimus Prime to kill Robo Leonard Nimoy. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. In 3 days, no less. Don't know how many 3 days it will take, but it will take 3 days. So, Tattle, again, is kind of panicking. And... Of course. Of course you are. I'm talking about this so much, I'm losing several of the time things, but I think that's okay. Because we just saw the mailman run by. We miss the interaction between the mailman and Anju. That is fine, but we do see the mailman leave the stockpot inn and leave because he's made his delivery. We just haven't seen it yet. And so Tattle is panicking. Tattle is saying things that can very easily be connected to her involvement in connection to all of this, but you don't understand it unless you know what the situation is already. Link, meanwhile, is in go mode. It is, oh, that's why it's 3 days. We don't have any time to lose. I'm going. And so Link is going. Link is going. Link is exploring. He is trying to find signs. And Tattle is having a hard time keeping up because it's suddenly, she like stops mid-sentence and, hey, where are you going? This is probably around the time where Link starts getting chased by the dog because the dog hates the Deku Scrubs for some reason. And it is, actually, this is perfectly timed. It is near sunset when Link is able to locate the ferry and bring it back. I wasn't able to elucidate on this previously when we were here, but the communication ability of a broken Great Fairy should not be very good. Think of it like broken radio static or something to that effect. And so it's only here, now that the Great Fairy is whole again, that she can actually converse properly with Link and talk a little bit about how the Skull Kid jumped her. Played a very mean trick on her, which normally she's unaffected by such things and has even had to reprimand the Skull Kid a time or two, but for some reason, because of that mask, something that she doesn't know apparently a whole lot about, it breaks her. And so Link would ask, do you have the power to heal me? And she says, well, actually, she would try. She is unable to, obviously, but she is able to at least imbue some of her magical ability into Link that helps him to get a little bit more control over his body. Because he's had this body for less than a day. With that, well, I want to say dealt with. If we knew Hero Time, we could Bill Murray his way into solving the problems by safe scumming a relationship with a girl he barely knows or activating some magic. I mean, we're going to be activating a whole lot of magic in the near future, so that does, in fact... Again, we're expanding the story, so we're figuring out how exactly he saves Scums a magical situation. So, without a clear direction as to where they should look next for the Skull Kid, Link and Tattle are basically left with no other option but to explore Clocktown in the hopes of finding some kind of hint, some kind of lead. This is where we would have our initial run-ins with our circus performers. We've already seen Gorman, but then there is obviously all of the performers and everybody that is attached to all of that. I do kind of want our banker here to be a character, but I'm entirely certain how he would be, because all he does is save our money, which doesn't really play into all that much. You understand? So, I'll have to mull over on that for a little bit. But running into Guru Guru, the Rosa sisters, none of them are giving Link the time of day, as it were. In fact, it's a running trend that we have seen that Link does not get a whole lot of respect from, well, anybody as a Deku kid. So it's not happening. There is only so much a person can go. I wonder if there is a... Because I feel like Link would need to sleep at some point, right? We have the 3 days as the game mechanic, but if we're treating this like an actual story, Link can only go so many hours without any kind of sleep. So perhaps then, after searching for leads for a while and finding nothing, Link would, exhausted, need to lie down and take at least a little bit of a nap. And so he finds a spot, curls up, and goes to sleep. He is awoken by the old lady, who is just checking up on him to make sure that he's all right. Oh, poor child. I hope you are doing well. It's dangerous out here. And as she is leaving, after Link has assured her that she's fine, he's starting to doze back, and then suddenly he hears her scream. Link runs over, sees what's going on. He sees Sakan running off, and so Link is trying to chase after him. Because this is the thing that Link does. Tattle thinks Link's being an idiot. Sakan is far too fast for tiny-legged Deku Scrub Link to catch up to him. And so this frustrates Link. He has to come back and inform her that he couldn't save her stuff. Oh, it's all right. These things do happen sometimes. We'll just have to stock our bomb bags later. She's obviously dejected, but can't be helped. But Link is very frustrated because he's so used to being able to solve these problems, to jump into action. And that's not something he was able to do. So, again, feeling dejected, feeling very low. This whole day has been a episode in humbling our hero of time. Suddenly everything has been brought to square one, and that's it. We need to jump to day 2. I'm trying to think if there are any other characters that we need to introduce in our initial 3-day cycle. Our swordsman guy here, I would definitely want him to show up as a background character. Probably, like, being very performative in a corner of a square or something, trying to, like, basically be the blowhard that he is in I will cut that rock in two I will save everybody. This is nothing to worry about. All that, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if the shopkeeper slash the pawn shop owner probably should be a thing at some point, but I don't know where exactly. I have an idea. Look, go play Hyrule Warriors. Go play Young Link. Use his magic. And then use his magic ult. And you will get Fierce Deity Link cutting that moon in half. It happens. I should know. I played that game for 15 months. Okay, hour, minute 15. That's easy. That's plenty of time. You. I should not be going backwards for this. Ha! Got it anyway! What's more stressful, this or Pikmin? I would say Pikmin. Because at least with this game, you can reset yourself. Pikmin, you can't. It's 30 days, and that's it. I'm a little disappointed that the later Pikmin games don't have that. I haven't played them, but I know they don't have the time. Day 2, I think, should be... when Link first meets Anju. It would be where she is on day 2 if you don't talk to her, which is over here. I just want David Attenborough through the world. She's not here right now. I kind of want to wait until she gets here. Instead of having it being a midday afternoon type thing, it would be a morning thing. I'm trying to remember. They're making it into an afternoon thing, aren't they? Oh, there she is. See? There she is. That's what I wanted. Yeah, so instead of an afternoon thing, we would make it a morning thing where Link, once again, has fallen asleep. Because, holy crap, worst night, worst 24 hours of his life. And he is woken up by Anju. There is the feel of rain, which I have to imagine feels differently when you're made of wood. I don't know, but I just assume. But there is the sound of Anju, and Anju is... Why, thank you, FNAF for life. I appreciate it. Anju has to be singing maybe a familiar song, or gosh, maybe referencing like a promise that she made with Cafe at some point, and it's another opportunity to emphasize Link's powerlessness to help anybody right now, while also introducing us to Anju and her predicament. The conversation would be somewhat brief, but there would be... oh, dang it. I want Navi to come up again, because Navi is the one who references the astronomer. We need to find some way to get Link to try and get to the astronomy tower. And the conversation with Anju would need to reference the falling moon and why Anju's concerns are not connected specifically to the moon falling, but to something else. Something that she is missing. Which she does not say who it is, but it's something that Link can... Oh, why, thank you. Thank you for the rupees. I need to deposit my stuff at the bank at some point. Something that Link can relate to as someone who is looking for someone that he is missing as well. And so that leads to a conversation where the two of them at least connect on a matter of shared loss. That conversation leads to a discussion of the moon and of the astronomy tower, which I would say, for the purposes of the story, is in town and not... I mean, I suppose it could be outside of town, but I suppose either way, it doesn't really matter. That's a rather... It's a moot point regardless. And Link would take it as a, well, the Skull Kid caused this, right? And Tattle would be a little hesitant to say yes, because Tattle doesn't want to admit the part that she has played in all of this. And so Link would, not addressing the Tattle situation, would be, let's go check out there. Maybe we can see something on the moon that can help us, or something like that. It's a thin lead, and they recognize it's a thin lead, but they're grasping at straws here. So they got to try something. And so they head out that way, and along the way, instead of us needing to pop the balloon here, Link would run in to the Bombers gang. Probably just like running into Gorman, he runs into them. And, of course, you can't get away from us that easily. You gotta pay the price. Unless... And basically, the price is you have to play a game. That was easy. Thank you for staying right put. Huh. I think I made them stumble with my spin attack. That's interesting. I've never done that before. And now I've done it twice without even trying. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. I'm gonna be eating those words as I end up getting this one trapped in a place that I can't reach or something. Like that. Ah! I'll take it. Oh gosh, I'll take it. It's so nice. Thank you so much. I need to deposit like all of this money. Maybe the banker will just be a background character. I don't have too many options for him. Dealing with the kids definitely takes most of the day. Let's see here. I need to make sure I have enough for the third game, so I'll just deposit 60 for now. Bonk. Yeah, I don't know what to do with you. I really don't. Oh, I need to get the other one. There is one thing I want to make sure I do in the course of this night. Nice. It is through the course of trying to chase these kids down that Link runs into, or at least spots, a familiar silhouette. 52341. Someone remember that for me. I think I'll remember it, but who knows? Of course it's story time, Daisy. What do you think I've been doing for the last hour and a half? Well, 1 hour, technically. You avoid watching this game? Why do you avoid watching this game? Are you not fond of this game? Oh no! Oh no! So, like I said, it is through the chasing with the kids that Link spots a silhouette that he remembers seeing from last night. Well, you're here now. So, fight the curse! Fight the curse! I believe in you. This thing doesn't open until 10, right? That's what I thought. Okay. So I have a little bit of time. Oh, wow. No wonder you avoid watching this game. Maybe you are cursed. Oh, no. Okay, it's almost 10 o'clock. Wow. The power of Majora is strong. That's nuts. Okay, it's 10 o'clock now. We are waiting for our guy, who is somewhere. I don't know where, but he's somewhere. But time is lost, essentially, when they could be running for the observatory. Instead, Link goes chasing off the silhouette that he saw the night before. He was trying to save the bomb lady's bombs, or bomb bags. Where the freaking heck are you, Sakan? Oh, that would be a thing I would want to do at some point. Just there you are! Look at him go. So, in chasing him, Link would track Sakan down to the Curiosity Shop. He's never been here before. He has no idea what it is. But Link catches this exchange. 100. Don't be such a rupee pincher, you miser. 200. Well, why don't I just offer you even less? And you know this is the bomb shops. How about if I tell them all about you? I'm sure the guards would be very interested in your late-night activities. All right, fine, I'll take it. But you're guilty too. Don't be a fool. A seller of stolen goods is just a middleman trying to provide his customers with a good product. Look, I know nothing. If it comes to me, I buy it. I'm a charitable organization that helps people in need. Fine. Then the total is... It's 50 now. There you go. What? You said 100. Oh, so you don't want me to take it off your hands. Maybe we should just give this over to the guards then. Fine. It's a deal. It's a deal. Link would again try and follow Sakan to very little avail. And eventually Tattle has to reel Link in. If we don't take care of this, there's not going to be an old lady to give the bomb bags back to, much less anything else. And so, Link has to begrudgingly give up the chase, which he was losing anyway, because again, short little Deku Scrub can't outrun a master thief. Let's see here. 5, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ha! I still remembered. It is good that we are coming here at nighttime because I think it makes more sense for the observatory to be operational at night and the telescope to be more in use, as it were. The conversation as such, I think, would go pretty standard, or consistent, I should say, with how it goes in the game. The only thing I would change is that instead of having, like, a moon the moon tear falling from the sky and stuff like that. I need a telescope to look up. Because we want to get closer. We want to look closer. That's all. The old man in the observatory is very, very kindly and whatnot. He loves teaching the young boys in town about the stars and the whatnot. He's frustrated about the moon because the moon was not there, or at least not like that, until very, very recently, like in the last couple of days. Or at least it seems that way. And so he has been trying to figure out what the heck happened, what's going on with it. And he offers, because it is nighttime, to give Link an opportunity to look in the sky and look at all of the stars. And it is, of course, there that this occurs at the very least. Not necessarily the moon tier part, like I said, but Link, trying to figure out how the telescope functions, accidentally zooms in at the clock tower and sees the Skull Kid. Not necessarily with the butt-smacking thing, but just the evidence that the Skull Kid is there. And realizing this, Link would say something. And at this point, they've gone around the clock tower. Link probably doesn't even realize that. Yes, it is in fact animated in Japan. It's Japan, obviously. It's a Japanese-made game. That's fine. And this is where Link would learn about the nature of the clock tower. He couldn't even stop. Oh my gosh. That's okay. This is Nintendo. We deal with Miyamoto. With that information of this is where the Skull Kid has been hanging out, Link and Tattle would rush through town trying to find... Well, basically trying to get to the clock tower. Oh, why did I come in here? I did not need to come in here. Oh well. I guess I'm getting my magic back. Oh, never mind. I have full magic. I'm doing this for no reason. Aw, Skull Kid waving. That's cute. Anywho. Well, sure, but not as far as the game or the story is concerned. I can think of good reasons to go in there, too. And just think, you'll be able to see it in the remake in its full glory. They're gonna change their design, I just know it. It's gonna be disappointing. Stop it. Stop it! Gosh. I missed! Alright, let me back in. Try this again. You're the one saying funny things. Oh. Come on. Get over here. Thank you. See? You're saying the funny things again. Aw, I almost got it. For it. Thank you. Okay, I'll wait for that to come by again, and then we'll be good. The clock tower is obviously the centerpiece of both the town and of the festival, so it's not going to be someplace that a kid can just... do it again. I have time. I've done everything I need to do. I just have to wait until midnight tomorrow. So I have all the time in the world. Not all the time in the world to do this, but I still have a full-on 12 hours. Come on. That was a little too close. Ha. A little more focus this time. Okay. One more. There. I'm a little early. Nope, never mind. I'm right on time. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. The tower is... It's being watched, basically. This is where the fireworks show happens. This is where all of the important stuff and related to the beginning of the festival, regardless of the fact that it seems like nearly everybody is gone. In fact, that is something that we would be seeing over the course of the 3 days. More and more people fleeing Clocktown as they start to seek shelter. It's a scene that we would revisit when we come to the end of the game. But this would be the first time that we really see it, as people are just leaving in droves. The place becomes more and more empty. We'll see the soldiers looking on. We will see the event organizers acting in a defiant manner, but obviously still sweating bullets. Wow, thanks. Rude. Can I get to that from here? I might be able to get to that from here. I cannot get to that from there. That's fine. I don't need it. I'm just curious. And it's not even Hylian soldiers. They're Termina soldiers. Apparently, their training has expanded. Not the best idea, but there you have it. Though, to be fair, what exactly do you expect them to do against that? Ow. What am I supposed to do against Puppy? The grand questions of life. There's nothing you could do against Puppy! Alright, so there's that taken care of. It is almost nighttime. What shivers from this peasant? I mean, I could introduce you. We saw Vyson earlier. He was arguing with the mayor to get the... Dude, Groose would be an awesome sheriff, and you know it. No, Vyson was arguing with the mayor to get people to go seek shelter because he knows better. Look at that massive hunk of rock in the sky, and you tell me. Yeah, what are you gonna have the soldiers do to that? Poke it with their little sticks? That ain't gonna do crap. Crap, I tell you. Yeah, sir? We have spears? That's a celestial body! If only Vyson was as stubborn as the... that guy. Because he's the one being like, we will have this carnival no matter what! Vyson's like, dude, what do you expect us... What do you expect to do with this, Muto? Stab it? That's a celestial body! Your mother's a celestial body! Yes, perfect. We'll put that in... We'll put that in one of the side conversations. Anytime Link and Tattle are wandering by the city hall, they're still having the argument. Oh, gosh. Hopefully I'll remember next time we talk about the moon falling on the podcast. We can... Oh, I'll make a highlight out of that one. I've had fun making highlight shorts for the Zelda Universe podcast. That's been fun. Spent like all of Saturday working on the podcast, and it was such an enjoyable time. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I clipped it as well, so I'll figure out what the best setup is so I can share that. Appreciate it. That is a big face. All right, back to the story. So, left without any way to actually... Well, they try. They work really, really hard to infiltrate the clock tower, which eventually they are able to do, but unfortunately it does take them a crap ton of time to do it, so that the fireworks are going off as Link and Tattle are able to get inside. And like I said before, we have this scene where we see all of the different people who are going to be connected with this overarching plot, watching the fireworks and also watching the moon fall down, as all of them are coming to grips with their inevitable demise. Meanwhile, Skull Kid is looking up in satisfaction at his handiwork. There is almost a Smeagol Gollum kind of conversation at play here that you can only kind of catch if you're paying enough attention. It still sounds like it's the Skull Kid the whole time, but anytime the mask is actually speaking, you can just like barely hear the mask in the background, egging the Skull Kid on that this is going to do it. This is going to be the greatest thing. They will all pay for their cruelty, their rudeness, you know, however evil manipulative Mask wants to be evilly manipulative of our Skull Kid. Tattle and Link would call out to the Skull Kid, and that is what causes Tail to come out and respond. You'll notice with this line here that Tattle is kind of being negotiative, as it were. It's like, hey, Skull Kid, you know, this has been fun. I know it's really, really funny, but maybe we could be done now. Everyone's gotten really scared. It was really good of you to do that, but maybe we should end it here. I think they've learned their lesson. And obviously, that goes nowhere. Very quickly, it's shut down by the Skull Kid, the side of the Skull Kid that has the Majora's Mask voice kind of sitting behind it. And that is when Tail shouts out the four who are there, bring them here. This happens. That one is definitely voiced by the Skull Kid. I would say by Majora's Mask Skull Kid. most of this sequence at this point, let's say the rest of the sequence, I would say I'm pretty happy with. I think the argument actually would progress. Okay, so maybe I'm not fully satisfied with this. I think the argument would progress to Tattle kind of pulling the big sister / motherly stern kind of deal. That's enough. Skull Kid, you come down here this instant. We're going to fix this, and you're going to apologize. Skull Kid obviously is not having it. Majora's Mask is egging him on. And finally, the Skull Kid snaps, and things start to accelerate in a hurry. I could see Tattle and Tail kind of like flying around, trying to... They're either panicking or they're trying to get a grip on the situation. The Skull Kid, of course, is having none of it. Oh, gosh. And so Link basically needs to take advantage of the chaos because he's seeing what is going on and he thinks to himself, well, not maybe thinks to himself. We're not doing like internal monologue at this point, but he sees what's going on. He sees the conflict and he sees that the Skull Kid is being rather loose with the ocarina while this whole thing is going on. He knows that the ocarina is key for him getting his body back, and in Link's mind, if he can get his body back, Hero of Time is in full force again. I can end this right now. And so he knocks the ocarina out. Now, it's an ocarina. It's a sacred relic, I know, but it'd be cooler if Link was able to actually like run up and grab it and hold on to it. And this is one of the main things that Link has been holding on to. Remember, this theme of loss. And so the fact that he has gotten this thing that he had lost on top of everything else that he has lost. Here's my ocarina. He grabs it and he is holding it tight. Suddenly, the realization is that he had lost this precious, precious gift and suddenly has it back. Suddenly it's oh my gosh, you're here, Zelda, oh my gosh. And we have a flashback here, which I suppose could still be used. But at the same time, I almost feel like this would be better as a communication. This is nice as a farewell gift, but I think on the whole, it works better as a reminder of what Link still has. Because, yes, the ocarina is important. It's precious as a memento from Zelda, but it's not Zelda herself. And so maybe because this is a mystical, magical instrument, Zelda could have perhaps left something in the ocarina for him. Because she was with Link for however long he was there. She knows why he left. And she knows, because it's Zelda, and she's super wise like that, she understands that there's more going on here and that Link needs to be reminded of things. So if her hope is that if Link is holding on to that ocarina and he is thinking about it and thinking about her, she will always be there to remind him that Link is not alone. And she believes in her heart that a day will come when she'll meet him again. A conversation about the connections they have across time. She feels like that is something, kind of the reference to the reincarnation, even if she can't explain that that's what it is. That's kind of what she feels. Like there's this deep connection spanning across time. So please keep the Song of Time with you. She doesn't have to necessarily say, keep the Song of Time with you, but the references in regards to time and the connection of time needs to be there so that as Link is playing the song in this memory, this magical connection that he and Zelda are having, that is what he is feeling and experiencing in his mind. But as he is doing that, and as this music is playing, there is suddenly a merging between the song being played by the ocarina and another note. I'd say, and another instrument. Because on the outside, Tattle is trying to get Link's attention because everything is still happening, and suddenly Link is stock still, gripping this ocarina. What are you doing? Get yourself together. She doesn't say, Goddess of Time, help us, please. It's more somebody anywhere. We're out of time. We need more time. And so while Link in his connection is playing the ocarina on the outside, suddenly Tattle hears the sounds of the Deku pipes. And so she turns, and suddenly it's... Link is still, like, almost in a daze. And yet these pipes have seemingly come out of nowhere in nearly a blast of magic. Maybe not a blast, but emanating magic. And that energy surrounds Link, surrounds Tattle, and for both of them, everything has gone white. At this point, Link has a little bit of a disconnect that he is feeling between everything that he has suffered over the last 3 days plus, along with the voice and the assurance of Zelda manifested in both her voice and in the Song of Time, to when, I'd say, to the point where things feel familiar, and yet something is different. So suddenly everything comes back into focus. What just happened? Everything is has started over. And so, of course, like what just happened, right, or what's happening right here, rush out, look up. We have time. We have more time. But what are you anyway? That song you played, that instrument, that instrument! Wait, that's it! Your instrument! The masked salesman said if you got back that, he could return you to normal, right? Right? Oh my gosh! We have this! We can do this! And then we'll have that, and then we can... Both of them are very excited, obviously. The mask salesman is... How much body horror should be part of the Crazy Wooden one-man band? All of it. We're going through a lot of existential crises during this game, I expect. In one form or another. Link's and everybody else's. And coming back The mask salesman he's not standing here. He's just putting his stuff down. Because from his perspective, they just left. Like, maybe a few minutes ago. Maybe a little more, but essentially just a few minutes ago. And so he's putting his bag down. He is getting his stuff together. The organ is nearby. We're not just going to have it, you know, hiding behind this wall. It's actually here. And they're running in. Tattle is super, super excited. She completely has forgotten, like, the reason she was hiding behind him in the first place. That was 3 days ago. Of course she's going to forget. We've had a lot happen in the last 3 minutes. And the happy mask salesman is... You can see the children's shoes falling out of his backpack. Wait, what? I see a map. I see a bag. I see Mario. I see... I don't know what that is. It kind of looks like Falco with a Wi-Fi. I know. I'm looking. I'm looking. And so he looks over and he is pleasantly surprised. So quick. So quick. Were you able to recover your precious item from that imp so quickly? I don't think he would necessarily be... Well... Would he be this excited at the get-go? I don't think so. I don't think so. We're going to hold off on this because I want this energy to wait until after he snaps. So instead of shaking him right now, it's more of a wonderful, wonderful. Well then, let us proceed and use what I have found to bring you back to normal. So he sits down at the organ. And he expresses, this is a song I learned in the course of my travels. Especially in connection to the mask that... Good. So as he teaches it, he teaches like a little bit of the origins, as it were. So the explanation of what the Song of Healing is before the transformation happens, but... there would be a little bit more to kind of show Link's feelings as a Deku Scrub, and then kind of feeling how all of it puts itself together, and then coming back, realizing this thing right here. That should be before the song is actually played. It worked! It worked! Yes, it appears the magic from your instrument is powerful indeed. Ah, yes. I give you this mask in commemoration of this day. Link would reach down for it, and the mask salesman would kind of stop him. Be careful. Though it is a mask, it still holds the power of the curse embedded within it. The memories and the regrets of the one who is bound to it. Do be careful. You return it again, you will transform into the shape you just were. But if you can find the edges and remove it again, you may return to yourself. So Link would be gingerly about it in picking it up and putting it to the side, hanging onto it. Ah, what a glorious resolution, and so quick as well. We have so much time. Well, as everything has been settled on your end, I trust you will agree that my intentions are legitimate. So, now that I have fulfilled my promise to you, I humbly ask that you give that to which you promised me. Well, you see, the thing is, I got this kind of on accident. So, oh, thank you. So, I don't really... Don't tell me. The mask. My mask. You did. You did get it back. Didn't you? You did? Right? Not yet. And Link cannot finish the sentence before... What have you done to me?! Immediate. This is where all of that energy should suddenly become bursting forth. As he just flies into what is both a rage and a panic. If you leave that mask out there, something terrible will happen! More than... What, you mean the moon? Oh, more than just the moon. The moon is only just the beginning! That mask. That mask. It is called Majora's Mask. It is an accursed item from legend, said to have been used by an ancient tribe in its dark hexing rituals. You could totally get, like, Twilight stuff in here. It is said that evil and wicked powers bestowed on the one who wears that mask. Immense power, with dark consequences. So great was the mask. According to legend, the troubles caused by Majora's Mask were so great. It caused untold destruction to wreak havoc across the land. And the Ancient Ones, fearing such catastrophe, sealed the mask in shadow forever, preventing its misuse. But now, that tribe from the legend has vanished, banished by the gods, so no one knows the full extent of that mask's power, or how to control it. It was lost to legend, and I found it. I went to great lengths to get that legendary mask. It was going to be the prize jewel of my collection. When I finally had it, I could sense the doom of a dark omen brewing. It was like that. It was that unwelcome feeling that makes your hair stand on end. But it was mine. I had it. I was going to hold it, treasure it, seal it away, protect it. But now, that imp has it. I am begging you. You must get that mask back quickly or something horrible will happen. There has to be a cutscene, like, that basically shows the mask salesman getting jumped like Link was, and him then waking up and finding that the mask is gone, just as part of this whole sequence. I'm begging you! I'm begging you! You must do it! You must! He has not let go of Link this entire time, by the way. You can see Navi, like, trying futilely to wrench the mask salesman's grip. I was gonna go put him on. Look, I'm not saying it was the best idea. It belongs in a museum. Anyway. So, of course, Link is like, all right, I'll do it. I'll get it back. Really? Drop? You'll do it for me. You'll do it. Truly. Yes. Yes. I'll do it, Tattle. Right. Sorry. was certain you would tell me that. Link's trying to like, oh, you'll be fine. Surely you can do it. Oh, believe in your strengths. Believe. I will be waiting right here for you. And so Link, again, just like before, as a Deku scrub, he's slowly backing away. As slowly as he can. Until he finally reaches the door. And leaves. Tattle at this point is now finally coming to grips with what she has helped unleash upon the world. It's called Majora's Mask title drop. If this was a movie, I could see it. I really could. The problem is that I talked about this before. The interconnected way in which all of these side quests go together is going to be really, really hard to come up with on the fly. So I feel like it would be easier if we designed this a little bit more like a serialized television show. Because then it gives us the ability to take an episode, as it were, to explore different side stuff. Now, I don't know how well that is going to work. This is me coming up with the story stuff on the fly. And so I'm going to do my best, like I said, to put all of this stuff together. But I don't know how effectively I'm going to be able to do it. So Tattle is still coming to grips with all of this as he's trying to think through, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I thought the Skull Kid just took a liking to it, but then it all makes sense now. Well, Link is now trying to get Tattle's attention so we have to get that mask away from him. We know where he's going to be, so why don't we... But you saw what happened. Even if we take it from him then, he'll have already caused the moon to fall. We need to get it before then. Or we need something to... Tail. Your brother? Yeah, what he said. The swamp, mountains, ocean, and canyon the Tail was trying to talk to us about. There are each of those in each of the 4 directions from Clocktown. There must be something there that can help us with him. So, what do we do then? Well, just trying to... Both of them are trying to think their way through what's the logic there. Something's there. Well, all right. Well, which way should we go? We just kind of look forward. Actually, you know what? I bet Tattle is like, well, we could go that way, or we could go... So Tattle is trying to figure out, like, oh my gosh, which way we're going. Basic, simple choice paralysis. Link, meanwhile, our seasoned adventurer Link, just kind of looks forward and says, well, what's that way? Oh, that way. The swamp's that way. All right, then. Then I guess we're going to the swamp. Just like that? Yeah, just like that. One direction is as good as another, so let's just go this way. And so Link would run out at the exact same time he would run past Cafe. We would have a good scene of Cafe delivering his letter as Link makes his way outside. I am going to... Oh, hang on. Gotta remember how that is. Choose the one everyone hated either first or in the middle. Wait. I'm not sure what you're talking. Oh, I don't know. Anywho. That running out the door with Cafe mailing the letter, like, well, yeah, it is living there over there, isn't it? It in my mind, it just seems like the perfect end to like an episode or something. It's certainly the end of like this first arc, the introductory arc, which is really, really good. So I think we can start as we are starting here. It would take a little bit of time to get over there. The whole new anime opening next episode. That's it. We're splurging. We're marathoning this episode. No. Anywho. The explanation here, I think, is pretty good. Because this gives us an opportunity for Link and Tattle to get to know each other. If we weren't on a repetitive time limit, I would want to have this as a nighttime something or other, which is frustrating. I think that's one of the most frustrating things about trying to put a story to this together is the pacing of the 3-day cycle requires a lot of bang, 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 bang type of situations, which is hilarious considering all that extra time that I had during the first cycle. But it still means that this needs to happen pretty early in the morning as they are right after where they are leaving. That being said, the story as it is shown, regardless of how much like voiceover we would do for Tattle, or just leave it as voiceless as it is, I think works really well. Dang it, I'm out of liquid. Sprinkles and subtitles. And so Link would need to, at the very least, pressure Tattle a little bit at this point to kind of pressure her into talking about this scene. Because it sounds like you were just having fun together. What happened? Well, I'm sure it was because he was always playing tricks. Nobody really wanted to play with him, but we were alone. He was alone. It worked out. It was fine. And what he did was harmless, really. Obviously justifying. We could even see some of the tricks that they were playing, which were mostly harmless, but definitely mean-spirited. So you can see where Tattle and Tail justify their tolerance up until this point. Because we would also show that because of these tricks, nobody wanted to be with him. And casting him out, get out of here. Always causing trouble, all that kind of stuff. But then you see the escalation of worse and worse until well, I would say the escalation is tiny before, but once he got his power, then you start seeing a little bit more and a little bit more. And then we get back to, I should have seen it. And Tattle finally comes to terms with what she should have done, and she didn't want to admit to herself that she did not do. Oh, there's you know what? I'm going to need to backtrack. This is not for the story. Thank you so much. We'll see you later, Max. Great to have you stop by. Love seeing you, man. We need to come back because there is an aspect to the next, the next region that I need to make sure that I have, and that is specifically the... There it is. I needed the Z button. I don't have a Z button on these things, so I have to remember what they are. The Great Fairy Mask. This is not something that we would get here, because I do like the idea of, okay, we gotta go out on an adventure, let's go to the adventure right now. But in terms of gameplay mechanics, we do need to have the Great Fairy Mask with us, so I'm gonna grab it right now. The Great Fairy Mask would probably be gifted to Link by the next Great Fairy. Specifically the Great Fairy Fragments, because we need to get... Well, no. No, we don't necessarily need it. We can bypass the mechanic of the mask and just have Link collecting fairy fragments. Whee! There we go. Alright, we got this. The Great Fairy Mask should be a gift, but it is not something that we necessarily need to have as a mechanic, because this isn't a game anymore. We are creating a narrative, and so... The mask needs to be present because it is going to illustrate a important thing at the end of everything. But it doesn't need to be a constant presence. At least most of them don't need to be a constant presence in the game as far as the story is concerned. Only if and when story stuff is occurring. Okay. Now we're back. So, we were talking about Tattle feeling regret at not having seen what was happening, what he was becoming, justification, and Link is showing sympathy. He is being, you know, He's being kind. Good job, Link, for being kind. And so... they would continue moving towards the swamp. And the first thing that would tip them off that they're getting close is the smell of the swamp. It has a very distinctive smell. It's very humid, very murky, as it were, stuff like that. But after a while, there would be another smell accompanying it. Something that smells... Oh, wait, why am I going over here? Why am I going over here just yet? Something that smells acrid, sickly sweet, poison. And so the water as a whole would be poisonous. And so no way to get around except on boats. And Tattle would be like, well, let's just take the boat. And Link would be like, I'm not just taking the boat. And Tattle would be like, oh, right. Sorry, that's what we would do with the Skull Kid. And Link would say, okay, well, let's just go see what we can do. Basically, let's see if the guy who owns the boat will let us borrow it. You can see his eyes. Those eyes look silly because he's wearing glasses. I never actually look at his eyes. It's kind of funny. Now, the pictograph thing, I don't think is necessarily something we need to worry about here. That being said, we need an initial denial that Link can take it, specifically because the person who actually runs the boat and the boat tours is not here. Well, where is she? Well... she's not here right now. I believe that she went to see her sister. Oh, well, where's her sister? Her sister lives over this way. I don't think I need to tell you this, but be careful. The place is getting a little dangerous lately. Stay out of the water. So obviously we have to travel through water here, but as far as the story is concerned, Link doesn't have to travel through water. Instead, he simply goes on his own to where the potion shop is supposed to be. As a side note, since we are working with Kwome and Kotake here, I would not play into the, oh my gosh, you look exactly like these two witches I killed once upon a time. Can we see? Oh my gosh, we can see the box. See that box? There's a label on that box that is actually directly tied to a real Japanese shipping company. Or a fruit company. That's why it has a fruit on it. So yeah, she is in fact standing on a box. So funny. Things you learn. Thank you, Zelda Universe. So no, I would not play into it. These are different people in a different country in the real world. We are foregoing the very quick turnaround time that the developers had for this, and they're their own separate individuals. Give me 1 second. I'm talking a lot. I should get some water. Notice it but not say anything. I feel like Link would notice and say something if they look like two witches that tried to kill him once. So either you are mentioning it or it doesn't exist. That's why I would say doesn't exist, because it resolves a whole lot of potential conflicts and difficulties. One less thing to worry about, as it were. So, going in, we are on a person hunt. So, I am looking for the owner, the one who runs the boat cruise. Oh, I'm sorry. My sister has gone out to the back looking for mushrooms. My nose isn't as good as it used to be, and my sister sometimes comes helping me restock on supplies. You know, now that I think about it, she is a bit late coming back. I was expecting her about 2 hours ago. Could you go find her for me? And Link was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Tattle is more impatient with this whole runaround that they're getting. While Link is used to this kind of deal, and so they would just go. We are going to forego running around getting lost. But that is definitely something that would happen. They would get lost for a while until eventually Link would... Well, I bet the monkeys would start laughing at him first. Like, they're enjoying this whole situation, and then eventually Link would basically try and appease the monkeys. Like, can we maybe, like, pull out some food or something to that effect to gain the monkeys' respect? And then he would ask, have you seen an old woman come through here? And Tad would be like, you're actually talking to a monkey? But then the monkey reacts positively and leads him to where the other witch is. The witch should be another person who can deal with the Skull Kid, just like the Great Fairy. Not the same power, you understand, but still, that's why this is something that is so unusual, why she's as upset as she is. In addition to the fact that she is severely injured. She cannot walk without some kind of assistance. Now, we have to go and get stuff. We have to go get a potion for her, which we will now do, but that is not something that Link would need to do in the course of our story. The quickest way for her to get help is to take her himself and lead her out of the forest. Our potion witch would be, again, just as surprised as the first witch that the Skull Kid, of all things, could do anything like this. Something that is going to be a common thread anytime the Skull Kid interferes with anything that is going on. Those who know the Skull Kid are surprised that he can do this stuff. I think I can remember the route, which is great. I totally remember the route. It's actually a really easy route. Regardless, Link helps this witch get to her sister, who is able to provide a potion and restitution. And the witch very quickly is able then to recover from her injuries. So the witch would invite Link for basically Link and Tattle would ask for a favor after saving her to take her inside the swamp. They're trying to find something or someone. The witch would basically say, the swamp has gotten more and more dangerous as of late. The poisons sweeping down from the waterfalls. I'm not surprised that the Deku have closed off their doors to anyone not of their kind because of such actions. I imagine they are trying to find the solution. I'd be more than willing to assist with my magic, but they are not very keen on any kind of outside support. I doubt they listen to anyone who is not of their kind. That gets Link's gears spinning. Regardless, if you wish to go, I am more than happy to lend you a lift. And so she would start walking off. Tattle would begin to fly off as well, but she would stop because she noticed that Link is distracted, and impatient Tattle, what are you doing? Come on, let's go! But Link is looking over in another direction because he sees that the monkeys are still keeping a close eye on him. And they kind of look like they want to come out, but they're too scared to come out. Link kind of gives them a thumbs up, and he runs off. I did just skip over all of the explanation in regards to the thing, because I don't want that to come up until after they've reached the Deku Palace. But we'll get there. Plus, it seems weird that the monkey would be like, you have strange powers. What are you talking about? I ran through a wood and helped an old lady. It's a good thing. I am a good person. I do not necessarily have strange powers based on that interaction alone. There's nothing I think we... Well, no, there is at least one thing that we need. So, the witch would give us the pictograph box as a thank you gift. Or give Link the pictograph box, I should say. Just something that is sitting in the boat. And Link's just kind of sitting there bored while the stuff... Maybe not bored, but looking around, looking at all the stuff. And then he notices inside the boat... Oh, what's this? Oh, that's my old pictograph box. Pictograph? Yes, it creates pictures automatically. Anything that it looks through. Some newfangled... Link has never seen that. It's like, wow, technology is incredible. I have no need for it. If you would like it, you may take it. So, Link would take it, and he has a pictograph box now. Those Octoroks would not be there. Just the fact that they're getting over poisoned water is enough. And Link would... Or Link and Tattle, keeping them together, they would disembark, and they would try and see if they can get some kind of audience, if you will. Basically, I mean, they're trying to look for something of significance. They're not entirely certain what they're looking for, but they're looking for something. It seems to be the best lead that they have. However, of course, this is the royal palace of the Deku Kingdom. This is no place for outsiders. There would be some attempts to get some kind of assistance. Link would even, offer his services as a seasoned adventurer. Something that Tattle doesn't really believe at this point. And so they would have to leave. And I think it's right around here that Link would notice that the monkeys have followed them. And eventually, one would cautiously approach. And this is where the monkey would be speaking in a little bit of broken English. Or, you know, whatever language they're speaking. The common tongue, as it were. And this is where the monkeys would ask for assistance with their brother, who has been captured. They don't have a good way to get in. Can you help? Because you helped her, you must be good at helping people. Plus, you gave us food, therefore, we trust. We believe that you are nice and you might help us. Link agrees. Tattle is like, why are we messing with these monkeys more? This has nothing to do with what's going on. And Link's like, we're going there anyway. We might as well help. I don't know if you've noticed, but we can't exactly get in. Well, not like that, we can't. And Link pulls out the mask. Like, wait, you're gotta get in somehow. And so, body horror! The monkeys would be panicked as heck. Meanwhile, Tattle's like, oh, please, tell me when you do that again so I don't have to watch. And Link is trying to, like, okay, right, Deku again. And then he would feel his head to try and figure out, there. That's where I can take the mask off. Okay, good. I'm not stuck like this. Very important. Big sigh of relief. And then he'll turn to the monkeys who are still kind of like, what the freaking heck? What are you? And he would like, okay, all right. I'm going to go in. We're going to see what's going on. And I'm going to try and help your brother. And so from there, he makes another approach. Only those on official business may enter. However, you may enter to see the public humiliation of the foolish monkey who angered our king. So, maybe not. They've closed the doors off to anybody outside of the Deku rays. So, I don't think this is necessarily a no one may enter except on official business, because if we're going to create a Termina that was more universally open between all of the regions, but now has been closed off because of all these different kinds of crises, the palace should be generally open. However, we have the crisis that is going on, the monkey that has been blamed, and because of the monkey being captured, they had to step up security. And so that's why the gardens are closed, because those are generally also open. You can only go down kind of the publicly accessed areas, and the gardens at this point have been declared taboo. Which is fine. And so, Link is exploring. He is trying to learn what he can about the Deku and all the stuff that is going on. And of course, the primary topic is the captured monkey. And so eventually that leads Link into the grand audience chamber where the public humiliation is taking place. Normally, this is a pretty festive place. The Dekus in this area are all very happy and cheerful and whatnot, but obviously the king has a bit of a temper, and his daughter is missing. Link is mostly hearing the Deku side of things, while Tattle hiding in Link's hat is able to quickly kind of fly out, fly over here, and then she's able to get some of the information from the monkey, but not a whole lot. Just enough to kind of see the initial problems here. So, all of this information is true. In fact, I could see it as kind of almost like a trial. There could be a trial happening where the king is kind of like the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland, is just being completely inconsolable and jumping to all of this rage and conclusions. Meanwhile, all of the subordinates are just feeding each other rumors, which does not help anything. The monkey is trying to plead his case, not getting anywhere. And then we have the butler to the side, who is visibly concerned but unable to calm the king down. The monkey is refusing to give more information due to the fact that Link is a Deku. And so there is but so much that the monkey is willing to say, because obviously, why would he give more proof that the princess and him had not a relationship, but a partnership in going into the temple to investigate the poison? But at the moment, Link can't take off his mask to show that he is not a Deku and therefore has a level of trust, or that the monkey can trust him. And so they have to go on. There you go. Tattle is much more willing to, like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous, this is hopeless, all that kind of stuff, while Link, adventurer Link, is looking around and he's saying, oh wait, there's a passage up there. If we can get into that, we'll be able to get to the monkey, and then I can discreetly take off the masks, show him who we are, and get some assistance. At this point, going to the monkeys and asking for a token is a little bit out of the question, because at this point they're like really in deep into the palace, and to get out and then come back in would seem suspicious. So, by understanding or figuring out where they are in the palace and where that... What are you doing? Where are you going? Okay, thank you. Link is able to deduce where the entrance probably is. Thank you. We would probably skip over the bean sprout and the water and all of that. And instead, simply have it be a stealth mission into or through the gardens. Since these Deku flowers are a staple of sorts, and obviously very important to the Deku. It is definitely something that they would have in their gardens. And so Link would be able to sneak around like we just did, and also utilize the flowers in the effort to figure out how to get to where the monkey is. And so both of those aspects would still be part of this, and probably a montage of sorts. We would not be dealing with Deku's out here shooting us, because why would they bother? They would just need to raise the alarm and it would be fine. I blew it. I got to... As soon as I got into the flower, I realized I had approached that wrong. I need to snipe the scrub first. A little easier that way. In my experience, at any rate. Bum, 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 bum. So much easier and so much less risk. Probably shouldn't do that. There we go. It just seems easier to bypass things if I can. I'm gonna drop on this one to save. Oh, come on! You've got to be joking! Oh! Dang! I got sniped! Holy cow! These scrubs are not to be messed with. It's alright, we got plenty of time. This is what having the inverse Song of Time does for you. Ah, and of course these guys reset too. I'm not allowed to have nice things, apparently. All right, try this again. There we go. Cruise up here. This. At least that part is easy now. I did not do that right. What? How dare you? Thank you. My word. That's better. Man, I just had rotten luck, apparently. Serious? Wow. This guy's good. That's better. Gosh. Okay. I don't think there's too much in the monkey conversation at this point that requires any kind of adjustment, which is nice. So, being able to take off the mask. Oh my gosh, you're not a Deku. So I do think that all of this is pretty good, though the idea that Link could... They're ropes. The only issue is the fact that he'd have a hard time reaching them, but trying to reach them is starting to make noise. And so Buggy would stop and be like, wait. Do you have... He realized, wait, noise. Do you have something that can make noise? Link would need to assure him that he can. Hey, Killer Machine. Nice to have you in. That is the wrong button. I need to get an ocarina out. There we go. The transforming in front of the monkey would probably make the monkey freak out. So we would not have that be part of our story here, but just assuring the monkey that... That's funny. Assuring the monkey that it'll be fine is good. That should be more than enough. And so then the monkey would explain the circumstance, the story. He and the princess had gone to try and investigate the issue with the temple, and things did not go well. We would probably have a little bit of a cutscene showing the princess and the monkey coming in. They're looking around, then all of a sudden they kind of look up. There's a freak out moment and kind of a bit of a struggle. The princess is grabbed by some mysterious force, and she like urges the monkey to go. The monkey tries to come and solicit help from the Deku, but they immediately misunderstand the situation and capture him, which is where the situation here occurs. And so... Link will, of course, volunteer to help, because this sounds exactly like... Oh, you're fine. Exactly the kind of lead that Link was looking for. Tattle is still very hesitant, because all of this is new to her. It's like, why are we doing this much for this stupid monkey? And Link's like, it's more than just the monkey. There's more involved. Link's righteousness, basically. Now, in the game, the king uses the fact that we're being taught the melody as further evidence for the capture. I don't think we necessarily need to do that, especially since we're not having Link transform into a Deku in this situation. Just the fact that there's enough noise, enough discussion to... Eventually, they're going to attract attention. So... Eventually, someone would notice that the monkey is not alone in his cage, and would raise the alarm. And so then Link and Tattle have to rush out in order to escape being captured and punished himself. And so Link and Tattle would escape. Tattle, again, very annoyed by all of this. Can't believe we're going through all of this just for this unknown person that Tails said we're supposed to get. While Link is trying to convince Tattle that this could be or is just as important. So Tattle is very unconvincingly, all right, whatever, if you say so. Kapora Gabora would not be part of this story. He's only here for two things. One, to teach us a song, and one, to get us to an item. He's not necessary. So we are eliminating our owl from this game. And this song is only here for quick travel. It doesn't need to be part of our story either. So we can cut this as well. I appreciate quick jumping, but not strictly necessary for our purposes. There would be a fun little segment showing Link climbing a waterfall, or climbing up the side of the waterfall, and making it to the top. They were able to get into the Woodfall area. Which, I only just now realized why it's called Woodfall. Because there's a waterfall right there. I'm smart! My gosh. Silly me. Man, I need to... Speaking of quick jumping, I need to jump back to town and deposit all of this money. I'm trying to think. The need to summon the temple, as it were. I'm trying to decide if it's a good idea. Because off the cuff, I don't necessarily think it is. Because it's great for summoning purposes. As far as game mechanics go, but as far as the story goes, I don't think it necessarily needs to do that. Having it stand prominently as kind of like the central feature in this area should probably be good enough for our purposes. I'm going to leave this alone for the moment. I'm going to grab the heart piece that's over there, and then... I'm going to go deposit all of this money. So, pausing the narration so we can take care of some logistical concerns. Come on, you. I Missed. Ah! I'm so glad that drowning as a Deku doesn't make me lose health. It just resets my spot. Oh my gosh! Thank you! Oy. All I want is this gosh darn treasure chest. Thank you. My word. I like how he hops in the treasure chest. Woo! Health! Whew. This first dungeon is a little out of the... Well, a little out of the way is probably the wrong phrase here. Go. A little bit more, and I will have the amount that I need for a big wallet. We love ourselves a big wallet. I'm gonna grab this other heart piece while I'm thinking about it. Unfortunately, it is not time to save the lady. I'd like to save the lady. Honestly, part of me wants to. But need the story to count first. There we go. Probably spend the next cycle at least doing some things in town. That would make sense to me. Alright. Looking at the time, we should be able to get through this dungeon before the end of our stream. Of course, I say that, and we all know what happens when I'm like, oh yeah, we'll totally get this done in time, and then it takes me 5 hours. We know how I function. So while the song may not, like, cause the whole thing to erupt from the water, I could see it being used to at least unlock the front door. I think that makes a little bit more sense. The way that some of this music is used is a little... Oh, have a good sleep, killer. So, this is where things get a little, because the dungeon diving is important, and we had a much easier time in Ocarina of Time creating reasons for the dungeons to be part of what was going on. But in fact, we had a decent time of that in Link's Awakening as well, but this one is a little bit... I gotta stop doing that. Ow. There we go. Do I even need to deal with you guys? No, I don't. Why am I getting myself killed? There's our shtick. Trying to create narrative flow for the dungeons is a little bit harder here because the exploration is necessary, but there isn't a direct narrative flow, at least not immediately. So let's try and figure this out. As for the ultimate reason for, well, not the ultimate reason. We have the ultimate reason. More of what can happen inside the dungeon that is useful for the purposes of our story. I think the first time that I tried doing this, which I never finished, and so, at least I don't think I finished it. Anywho. What I did for this first one was to really show off Link's abilities in both combat and exploration. Something that really, even more than Adula, justifies Tattle at the end going like, holy crap, you're so good at this. Have you done this before? Which is a great line. I love that line, and I want to like justify it even more. So, in what ways can we do that? The easiest way is to have Link be, or display his expertness in this, as Tattle is kind of confused as to why everything is like this, while he is speaking and whatnot, he is puzzling out the stuff that is going on, and, okay, how can we address this barrier, this problem? Side note, I do want to do this, just partially so I have footage. It's just interesting that this is a thing. Ah! No! Thank you! Ow! I have paid the price for footage. No. That hurt. Okay. Because in this case, we have Tattle performing the pseudo-Navi role, but Link is the expert here. He's done this already, so he knows how all this works, while Tattle has never done any dungeon diving ever. You know what? I bet this would be faster. It totally is. That makes things so much easier. I only have one stick. Oh, wait. I need to make this stick work / last. There we go. Let's do that. That makes more sense. So, Tattle's opinion of Link would definitely go up because of this whole thing. Ah, hi guys. Goodbye. There we go. Is there anything else? I feel like that's kind of our major ploy here, unless we can somehow tie into our greater... Ow. Just trying to avoid. Unless we can somehow dive into our greater plot points, which, what I said at the beginning, is in terms of loss. And, I'm not sure exactly how that would go. How we would do that. The only way I can think of, because the pain that Link is dealing with is internal. This is his loss that he is trying to... Not that he's trying, but he's being forced to deal with. And so being forced to deal with all of that, you want to have reasons. There we go. I thought there was something. I couldn't remember if it was light or what. Guess it's a fairy. Come here, you. Some torches. Oh, just 3. I thought it was more for some reason. Not that I'm complaining. I think the feelings of loss need to come after. Because for Link, he feels like he is in his element now. Everything about this feels like his first adventure. Fairy included. So it feels like Navi's back in his life again. Sure when the best point to go for the flower is. Now seems like a good idea. Rat baskets. Please get over here. Please get over here before I die. Please get over here before I die. Thank you. Oh, gosh. Thank you. Yeesh. Letters. So that can emphasize the loss that Link is experiencing when it could happen in a couple of different spots. It could happen especially after the dungeon, but, you know, it could probably happen in the dungeon as well as Link overcomes a challenge, maybe defeating this Lizafulse or something to that effect. Ow. Well, that didn't help me, did it? Bye. When it's like, yes, I fought this thing, I did it. Hey, Navi, did you? And Navi? Who's Navi? That's Tattle. Navi? Who's Navi? Get your head out of the clouds. Which, obviously, is a harsh callback to reality for Link. Go. Thank you. And go. Oh, that's right. You're in here. Is he trying to punch me? I think he was trying to punch me. I don't know why I was having so much trouble there, but I was. There is a side plot with these demon frogs and the actual frogs. And I'm not sure off the top of my head how to play it. This area does seem a little bit out of the way. Once again, Link could be like, oh, we should check this. And Tad will be like, what are you talking about? We need to go this way. And that would lead to the whole thing with the frog. And after being defeated, we see the demon frog turns into a regular frog. Tattle, again, being very dismissive of the whole thing, but Link would go right up to the frog and be like, oh, look, frog! I remember seeing a whole bunch of these guys back in Zora's River. Tattle, again, being very dismissive of this whole thing. It's like, why are we bothering with frogs? Don't we have other things going on? But the frog is very grateful that it is no longer a demon, and so kind of expresses its gratitude as it departs. And Link is very satisfied. Wow. Seriously? Dude, that was working out perfect, Tattle. Wasted arrows. Now, for some reason, this is what purifies the poison, and that doesn't make all that much sense to me. I would want just the poison being created by Adolwa, which I believe is how it functions in for the outside world. So that works perfectly fine. So we can probably ignore that part. I mean, I usually try and... I'm more interested in game plot situations less than trying to incorporate every single game mechanic into the stuff that is going on. So in terms of what we were talking about before with Link missing Navi, that can easily come as part of a boss battle. The fairies are similarly part of... Ha. Link's insistence on helping as many things as he can. But Tattle, at the very least, understands that these are very important. So she's less concerned about it. And the fact that Link seems to almost attract them, obviously we have the mask for this, but in terms of the story, he just seems to naturally attract them, and Navi finds that fascinating. Why does this Hylian child have such an affinity to these fairies? That's unusual to say the least. I was hoping I could just shoot them off from here. Obviously, that's not going to be an option. We'll have to do it the personal way. As in, going up to them in person. Like this. More. I think they're both in here? Yes, they are. Awesome. Because I will absolutely detour us to get back outside in order to go get our spin attack. Huh. That's... Ow. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to include the Great Fairies in this story. I had said before that the fairies here don't actually need the Great Fairy mask. They're just attracted to Link naturally because of Link being the chosen hero and his association with Kiri and so on and so forth. So I'm not too worried on that front, but we also need the mask just as part of our grand finale. So we need an opportunity for Link to interact more with the Great Fairies. Oh, was I? Oh, the stump. I need to use the stump one. Alright, hang on. I'll use the stump one. Silly me. Of course, I went and grabbed that treasure chest. So there we go. So maybe instead of having an alcove outside of the dungeons, the Great Fairies actually reside in the dungeons themselves. These are temples after all, and so they would be a good place for magical essence to gather. So instead of having to come out, Link is gathering the shattered pieces. That is part of the reason why the temple is so defiled in the first place, because Majora's Mask had gone through and broken all of the fairies. That was part of the cruel tricks that the Skull Kid was playing. That was, in fact, the influence of Majora's Mask, because otherwise you have the Great Fairies involved and you also have the Giants involved. So you have both of those things in each dungeon. You kind of see it as a pairing, if you will, of two guardian entities of each dungeon. If we were to get into full-on D&D world building, then I would start trying to figure out, it's like, okay, so they're the Feywild, what do the Giants represent? Some other entity that just kind of balance the world of... Oh, dang it. But we're not going that far. We don't need that much world building in a Zelda adventure, so... in the flower. Speeds up the process. For the sake of my own sanity, grab this just in case. You can always let it out when we deal with the Duela if I need it. Go. So, upon reviving the Great Fairy here, the Great Fairy could explain that kind of dual guardianship, these two entities. One is the Great Fairy, and the Great Fairies are, well, fairies, and so they kind of do what they want, but they also recognize the sacred influence of these temples, which is why they reside in them as well. But then there are the actual true guardians of each realm that are even more connected to the lands of Termina. And the Great Fairy does not sense that guardian, only a twisted presence where it was before. Oh, seriously? Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, you know what? Maybe, nah. It's already drawn. Oh, crap. I can sense it already. Really hope I don't get burned for this. Good. Ugh. That could have been a problem. Thankfully, it was not. And so the Great Fairy would give them directions then to where this evil is lying, much to Tattle's protests. But Link is confident. And then he sees what he's facing, and then he's slightly less confident, but now there's no backing out, so here we go! What the heck? Oh. Not going well. I've never truly felt confident fighting this guy, actually. Okay, I really need to stop walking into his sword. That's what I'm looking for. Really? You had to interrupt my bow drawing? I mean, I appreciate getting... Ow. Okay, if you're gonna just stand there and... There we go. Okay, I really need to do something about this. Hang on. There you go. Have fun with that. Yeesh. Ow! What the heck? Here, have that. I'm gonna take this health. Whoa! I'm sorry, when did this happen? My gosh! This might be the worst time I've had with this thing. There we go. Okay. That being said, it does make for a more epic fight. So I do appreciate a boss that I actually have to work to defeat. Now, with the monster being defeated, it will lie there dead, and Tattle is, like, freaking out. Holy crap, how are we alive? Meanwhile, Link is recovering. He's like, okay, we got it, good. Now, what is this thing? And he's looking at it, and he notices that the face is a mask. And so, with some effort, he pulls the mask off of this creature. And that is, of course, when everything shifts. Everything changes. And suddenly they're here. What in the world happened? Where are we? What's going on? And just like we see in this, what's that? I always had the hardest time actually seeing what this thing was, which I'm assuming that was the point. For some reason, I can see it a lot better now that I'm older. Wait, seems to be saying something. Now, this is, of course, a summoning song, which is fine. In fact, no, we could totally use this. This can totally be... Obviously, this giant does not give us a whole lot of information, but it does... It would thank us. But these giants have always been of very few words, and so... Find us, summon us, or find us, call us. Those two, I think those two phrases, and then the song. I think that's about all that would be done here. Now, part of it is they're not giving us a lot of information because that's revealed later on, but they could also just be weak. They've been weakened because of everything that has happened, so they can't immediately go do something. They need to kind of recover themselves. The question is, do these giants exist outside of time? Because we have the remains. That's what allows us to call them later on. This is the challenge that you have when it comes to the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff that gets involved here. What is the canon events, and why do certain things carry over? I'll get to that theory in a second as soon as my theory in regards to it, as soon as we get done with this part. We'll get to it. But first, this is Tattle finally, like, putting this stuff together. Link, meanwhile, has already put it all together. And so as Tattle talks about this kind of stuff, Link is basically filling in the gaps as Tattle's like, those four that he was talking, do you think of the spirit that was sealed inside that mask? Link would say, yeah, I'd say so. So chances are there are problems in all the other regions as well caused by the same thing. And so kind of elucidating all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, she's like agreeing with it. So that means we need to go to all the... Hey, you were pretty good back there. I love this line. I love it. It's so good. Do I want it here? Do I want the apology here? Yes. I think the apology is still really, really good here. Like, this is the honest apology. Because... Again, what we had started with at the beginning of the swamp was her admitting that she didn't see it, that she was a part of it. Link was nice. We see all this stuff, and finally, it's the honest apology. Which, of course, she then has to immediately cover up and be like, there, I apologize. Don't hold it against me. Got it? So Tattle is ready to go, but Link is still... But wait. Aren't we forgetting something? And then both of them at the same time is, the princess! Where is the princess? And then there is a... Probably a response of, hello? Did someone call for me? Obviously, she was trapped in here. And so it was a... Oh! I'm sorry. Who are you? Link? pleased to meet you. I am the Deku Princess. Did you perchance come to rescue me? Didn't I just talk about yesterday how you should not just talk about what someone smells like this? Anyway. Still, this makes perfect sense. I want this whole scene to stay as is because it's great. I was worried that when I didn't come home, my father would think that monkey had kidnapped me. Oh, I was worried my father might even go so far as to punish the poor monkey. Oh, I'm so glad that he was able to hold on to his wits and find someone to send in order to help me with this situation. Funny you should mention that. No. Yeah, well, as it turns out... Are you serious? So, yes, this whole thing. This whole thing is here, and it's great. Now, the mechanics require us to... shove the Deku Princess in a bottle. I don't think we would need this to be a thing. It's hilarious for us. But it's not something we would need to actually have happen. In fact, I would argue that it's better this way because we could then be in as ourselves. God dang it. There we go. And instead of us needing to be a Deku in order to get back into the palace, the Deku Princess can basically lead the charge. And so initially, the guards are like, excuse me, you can't come in here. I told you not to enter in here. Not that part. It's like, only Deku allowed. But then they see the princess and like, princess! And the princess is on the warpath. And she's like, clear out now! And both of them are just like, ah! As they stand aside, let her pass, let us pass along with her. And yes, it's exactly like this. Because, oh my gosh, tonight I dine on monkey soup. That's just torturous. Holy cow. Oh no! Okay, no, we are saving the monkey now. Holy crap. So she charges in. Oh my darling! Everyone like stops in gasped amazement. She goes right for him. What are you doing? Let that monkey go this instant! How did they get him up there anyway? They're all so small. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm sorry. This requires more than just an apology. I'm just saying. This is a very magnanimous monkey. Just... Oh, boy. So, after this, there would be an actual coming to terms. The palace would need to be reopened. The monkeys would be brought in. There would be a feast. And there would be a coming to terms with what has happened. And they would recognize that things are dicey. The Deku need to make up for what they've done. But the monkeys understand that everything was really, really dicey and concerning there. There wasn't a whole lot of evidence in anything else. It'll take some doing, but we think that we can rebuild trust now that things have, in fact, returned to normal. During this time, Link is getting all kinds of accolades and gratitude and all of that stuff. And the butler in particular takes a shine to Link. And it is at his request that Link be given a gift. I don't know if I should be doing this as Link or as the Deku. But it seems to be working out pretty well, so I'm not going to say no. The race can proceed as is, not as a test, but more as a kind of Link and the Butler becoming acquainted with each other. Maybe as part of, like, Deku Games. Like, hey, we're gonna take part in this festival, like, celebratory tradition. I feel like dying. Accidental flame touch means death for Deku, so I'm going to say no to that. This place is such a maze. Should be almost there. Oh, maybe not. A little farther. Made it! And it's during this time that they are getting acquainted that the butler talks about his son. And maybe not the feeling of racing Link, but like watching Link and watching him perform and take part in these activities and whatnot. And for some reason, I'm reminded of my son. It's like he's still here. And obviously the connection between what we have seen already in regards to the butler and his son, who is still petrified in the forest and whatnot. There is this topic of loss again. And this is a conversation that Link and the butler would kind of bond on, because Link would be like, why didn't you go try and find your son? Well, there are other things. There is my responsibilities. There are the people that I care for here. And although I do not see my son, there are other... man, I'm struggling with it, because we need to make sure that this concept of loss and things for Link to bear in mind and learn about when it comes to loss, how to cope with loss, And what does it mean to deal with it? It needs to be something that comes up over and over and over again. And so this is where that conversation would manifest itself here in this section of the game. Now, we are at the end of stream time. I am not planning on elucidating on the plot any further. There are a couple of side quests that I would like to take care of before... Not side quests, but side competitions, as it were. Because... I would like to take care of the witch's target practice. I believe this will provide a... Here we go. Aiming for the target. I forget how many I'm supposed to get. There we go. Oh, sorry. Where did you... Oh, there you are. Seriously? Thank you. Wow, I cannot shoot for crap all of a sudden. There we go. This is not good, because the other thing I need to do involves a lot of good archery, and I'm not doing well. Sorry. Let's see, I was hoping for at least 15. There we go. Sorry. No, I want the... Ah! Yes, 20! I got 20! Awesome! That's all I wanted. Okay. Oh boy. So, there is one other... There's one other question that needs to be addressed, and that is the matter of... the effect that time travel has on everything. Which is a bit of a concern, because you kind of... You want the time travel to make some modicum of sense. Even if you kind of already have to suspend your disbelief when it comes to time travel in general. Because there's far too much that doesn't make sense. Out of curiosity. Yeah. I want to see if I can buy the next map. I totally can. Thank you. Oh, wait, I needed that... I needed that money, because the other thing I wanted to do was the archery competition down the other... this other side. I have time. I can go get get more money. It's just... frustrating that I don't just have the money. Oh, here we go. Money! Thank you, money! Wow, I just got a ton of money. That's perfect. 20 rupees, holy crap. Okay, here we go. Good, good. Yeah, there's no chance for me to talk when I'm doing this. Can I please get you? Thank you. Good. I think it's... No, wait. I hear you. Crap! No, get back here! Darn it! So close. No! Dang it! Ah! I want to play again, but I don't have the money to play again. All right, hang on. Okay, yeah, they do give me essentially unlimited funds here, so... No! Ah! No! Come on! You're... Ah! I just want to go to bed as soon as I do this one. Ah! That was painful. That was painful. I was doing so well. I feel like I'm missing a wool. Where's the one that runs in the front? Yes! Ah! Yes! Ah! I'm done here! I am taking this, and I am moving on with my life. Okay. I have done the thing. Someone remind me next week to tell you about my theory in regards to how the different places go with the timey-wimey thing, because I don't have time now. Hate everything. No, I don't hate everything. I'm just... Okay. The annoying thing is that the Octorok one in Clocktown to get the other thing is also really, really annoying. Arguably even more annoying than this one, because it's all patterns, and if you get it wrong, you lose points, and it's even more... Ugh. Anywho, I have an adult wallet now. It's great, and this is where we're going to be ending things for the night. So, I will Song of Time us. When we come back next time... Oh, wrong one. When we come back next time, there are a couple of things that definitely need to be done in Clocktown. And see, this is where we get into the episodic nature that the 3-day period starts to give us, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in Clocktown that just stays in Clocktown, and there's not much more we can do about things on that end. But we do need bombs. Kind of essential. And so... One second. Is that... We'll get that in a minute. I'm suddenly wondering if... Can we buy just a regular bomb bag on our own? And then the bigger bomb bags are when we save... Because that's the only reason that I'm thinking of being in Clocktown for the next... I totally can. Okay, so... That might change how things are approached next time around. Because I usually save a lot of the Clocktown stuff until after... after we go through the mountains. I'll need to think about it. Of course, knowing my life, I may not think about it until next stream. But! That is the next time we do this stream. And that is not right now. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. However you are participating, however long you've been here, I hope that you had fun and that you'll come back again real soon. To those of you watching on YouTube, I hope you are enjoying the story expansion. I am really happy to be back doing this. If you want to come and see these adventures live, I am always streaming The Legend of Zelda on Mondays, unless schedule permits. Doesn't permit it. But schedule tends to be really nice to me on Mondays, so come by, starting at 6 o'clock Pacific. It'd be absolutely wonderful to see you somewhere out there in the multiverse.